know you can't get enough of Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
God is Rainier Avenue Radio .world, your favorite community radio station. We're putting out all kind of inputs for you in your community. So come on and listen to us and tune us in. Get on our Facebook, Instagram, and all. As we're doing it right here for you in your community with Rainier Avenue Radio .world. And God is an inspiration of gospel music. Also, we're doing a lot of different things in your community. We give out free food. We give out a lot of things in the community. We do a lot of shows. We do a lot of things on the sports part, and we want you to come on out and tune us in and come to the community, and we do a lot of things in your community. So make sure you go to our website, Rainier Avenue Radio .world, and also go to the God Is website and look us up and see what we do in your community, something maybe you might like. So come on by and check us out from 11 to 2. Free food giveaway.
Kind of nonsense conversation we're having here.
The Neon Ghost Show. The Neon Ghost Show. Right here on Rainier. What's it? Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Right about now.
Rainier Avenue Radio .world. I'm so tired. I have to pee.
This is Monique Lee from the Afternoons with Monique show. I'm also the owner of Seattle Love Broker, a relationship consulting and matchmaking company. Tune in every Thursday afternoon at 1 p.m. to listen to intriguing, informative, and entertaining guests share stories of their past and vision for the future of our community.
If you or a family member are 55 or over and need nursing home level care, but want to keep living where you are, check out Providence Elder Place PACE. This program offers healthcare, housing, transportation, and recreational activities. There are no co-pays or deductibles, and it's covered through Medicare and Medicaid. Providence Elder Place PACE works to keep you healthy and in your home. Call 206-320-5325 or visit providence.org Elder Place. Providence.org Elder Place.
Would you like to see when your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio show comes on? Check out our show schedule, updated weekly at rainieravenue.world.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Clean Greens Living, broadcasted on Rainier Avenue Radio. It's your host, Queen Bree and Robyn T. Hey, Robyn, how are you?
Hi, Queen Bree. I am excellent. Thank you all for joining us today. We want to take a moment to acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Coast Salish people, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish, Suquamish, Nisqually, Snoqualmie, and Muckleshoot tribes. We also acknowledge what has happened on this land here in Seattle to impact the lives of the Black community in Seattle due to redlining. To share your own story of home or land loss in the central area of Seattle, please contact us here at Clean Greens on behalf of the Black Dollar Days Task Force King County Reparations Project. And the music, as always, our theme music is created by Cuddy Fresh. Thanks again and welcome.
I'm laughing because Daniel said you always talk over the voice over anyways, the music. So then I was like, I was trying to let it play a little bit. We need some lessons, Daniel. Anyways, any updates, Robyn?
We do have updates. Whoa. We have announcements and updates. I don't know. Do you want me to tell them? What do we got?
Okay. Well, you can tell them. Oh, are you?
Well,
okay,
I can tell them one. As always, I love to mention that our CSA memberships are open and live, and people are already signing up. And we're growing veggies for you. So I know you want to sign up. So you can go to the website to sign up. You can see it on Instagram. Find us there. And we have 2 pickup locations now.
Whoop, whoop. You want to tell them locations?
Yes. Central District as Clean Greens Plaza, as was named but on behalf of Rainier Avenue Radio
By Tony B.
by Tony B. And up in the Maple Leaf neighborhood at New Day Cooperative, where you can also get a lot of other local goodies. So please get yourself signed up. We're growing veggies for you.
Also, we're taking veggie suggestions. And I say suggestions because we are open, but we won't be able to take everyone's suggestions. But if you guys have any suggestions on veggies that you would like to see planted, please contact us at blackdollarcleangreens@gmail.com.
Yes.
Or DM us on Instagram.
Yes.
And then I don't know if you want to give out your email, but
you can send us an email. Yes, I would love to. cleangreensfarmmarket@gmail.com. I can answer any questions about CSA. You can say, hey, I want you to grow this and this veggie for us. So we'll do our best. Tommy is a great farmer. So please get your requests in.
Yes, he is. Also, our Clean Greens youth program is starting. So exciting. We'll be starting in May. And we'll have orientations in April. Not sure if we're doing 1 or 2 just yet, but keep a listen out and a lookout for those dates to start. And if you have any children that are 5 p.m., 5 years old to 18, please contact us. For the older youth, we are offering community service hours towards their graduation. For the younger youth, they'll get a small stipend. And then we talk about education, we talk about farming, we talk about food and social justice. We are trying to help our community build overall good children in our community as much as we can.
Yeah. And they have fun. They learn so much. They get to
So much
plant
fun.
food. They get to grow food.
This year they get to start their own community garden. This is exciting. I'm excited. All right.
That's one of the big announcements.
Yes. All right. We're super excited, but I don't know, for some reason now the sun left and now I'm just like back to
yeah, we're mellow today.
First I was very excited. It's like the sun's out, spring is here. Let me put on this orange. Now it's like the sun left. But anyways, let's get to our guest. Today we have Nathan Yemane. He is founder of YBG Healthcare. He grew up in Auburn, Washington. I'm sorry, I'm reading this all wrong. I was trying to be professional. I was like, I'm gonna get this reading right this time. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always fumbling over these words. I don't even know, Robyn, why do you let me read this? You should be reading this stuff.
You're too awesome. Oh my God.
Okay, back to what I was gonna say. Back to Nathan's introduction. He grew up in Washington, graduated from Auburn High. He has a master's in social work and obtained a clinical license in social work in 2013. He has worked in healthcare since 2010, spending the majority of his time working with terminally ill patients. Nathan has been professionally and personally influenced by the writings of Paulo Freire. I probably said that wrong, but Nathan's going to come on and he's going to correct me. W.E. Du Bois and Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. In his leisure time, he likes to fly his drone, listen to hip hop, and spending time with his wife and 2 children. Welcome, Nathan Yemane, everyone.
Thank you.
Woo!
Appreciate it.
In my head, there's like a whole audience clapping for you. Hey, Nathan.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity and time to be able to visit.
Well, thank you for making the time to come on our show.
Yeah.
I know that we have you on here because we want to talk about hospice care.
Right.
You want to start your own hospice hospital. Tell us about this.
Right. So it's a hospice agency, end of life care, and what it is basically is it is care that is provided to those who are terminally ill in their home. So it's not anything that patients have to go to a certain location. The care comes to wherever they call home. And so, and the reason I really wanted to get into this, especially in King County, so I'm applying through the state to be established in King County, is because of personal reasons. My father passed in 2020, and seeing how his end of life care was, and also because of just what I've experienced as a social worker professionally, as a social worker who's a person of color, and seeing the need for Black-owned healthcare, especially as it relates to something that is available for the elderly, just to be able to have something for those who've experienced, especially when I'm talking about people of color, when I'm talking about Black elderly individuals that have experienced so much discrimination, so much mistreatment and injustice because of what they've gone through in different healthcare systems. And I feel like when you work in end-of-life care, you finally have an opportunity to change that narrative for them. All the bad experiences that they've had and all the issues of trust that they've developed, rightfully so. At end of life, we could get it right, and I think one significant way to do that is through Black-owned healthcare.
Nice. We talk about we've talked about on here how the racial discrimination that goes on in the healthcare.
Right.
And we never even thought about it in hospice care. And I feel like you're right on the money with that. Even though they're in the life, they still need to have dignity and self-respect. And we don't get a lot of that in the healthcare as people of color individuals. So, sorry, Robyn, did you want to have a question or anything? No?
Oh,
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was just about to.
No, I love it. Actually, you've been putting me on the spot lately, but
sorry.
No, don't ever apologize, because we're all here to learn things. Yeah, I haven't experienced hospice care, so learning about what you're doing was really informative, and it doesn't surprise me, but it really shows a need for what you're doing, because just thinking about how any elderly person has it these days is really heartbreaking. And then to think that they have to spend the last, the most important, the most vulnerable time of their life with
experiencing racism and discrimination.
Oh, that, yeah. And I'm hearing that, you already work doing that work, and then your own father had a bad experience. And so yeah, I'm loving hearing that you're doing this, and I'm curious to know what you've experienced on both sides of it. That when was the turning point, then you realize I'm going to take all of this experience and all of my knowledge and my social work skills, and I'm going to go for it. What was the turning point? Because obviously things have been happening this whole time. You've been a social worker for a long time.
Right. That's a good question. I appreciate you asking that. I think for me, sometimes you observe and see things, and even if you are, professionally involved in whatever issue it is, it could be healthcare, it could be education, whatever the area is. But sometimes when it happens to you, when you have more than just a professional experience, when you have a personal experience in terms of it happening to your own family member, that really that adds to the sense of urgency that you feel about making a change and making a difference. And so I think that was the case for me, and just knowing that at end of life, whether it's my dad or anybody else, they should not have to deal with cultural incompetence. That's the main thing. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they are outright blatantly racist, but if there's any disregard to who you are, as far as your culture, your background, that leaves just a lasting negative impact on the family members. I mean, that's you're talking about the last few memories that you have of your loved one, right? And so and the thing for me too is that just a lot of people don't realize this, that when we talk about in terms of there's so many needs as it relates to the BIPOC population. When we talk about the Black population, there's so many needs, but a lot of people just don't know how much of a great and high risk our elderly Black population are in, especially when it comes to healthcare. People just don't know that. People don't know, for instance, that as far as ER visits go, Black elderly Medicare beneficiaries show up to the ER at a higher rate than any other racial group. They have hospital admissions for 2 nights plus at a higher rate than any other people group. The hospital readmission rates are highest amongst elderly BIPOC than any other people group, right? So one of the things that I think just people just, when we talk about what's going on in terms of racial, injustice and who's at a high risk for several, health factors and things like that. Sometimes we just don't hear about, a lot about the elderly population, and nothing brought that more to light than COVID.
Yeah. Can I first say, I appreciate folks like you guys out in the streets doing this work. I have a friend, she's currently getting ready to go to school, I think, to get her nursing's degree, but she has done a lot of hospice care and taking care of elderly families. And some stories I have to say, please just don't share this with me no more, because it was too much for me to bear. Like, one lady, she went and the lady wasn't eating, and she was like, that was her request. And I was like, so kudos to you guys for doing this work. I really appreciate you guys. Shout out to my girl Natasha if she's listening. Anyways, when we talk about you starting your Black-owned hospice care, you will be one of the first in Washington, and you are up against 2 applicants. How is that? Where are you at in the process and with that right now?
That's a really good question. So this is how the process works. The Department of Health has a program called the Certificate of Need program. Basically, they have created this selection process, basically, to determine what new hospice is established in King County. So you can't just start that business. It's not. There's just a lot of steps and a lot of processes, and you have to be given a certificate by the Department of Health. So for this year, in this cycle, we are one of 4 applicants, and the state is only going to give 2 certificates. So out of the 4, only 2 are getting a certificate, and we're making a case to the state that our application is the only application that is focusing on underserved populations. We're the only ones out of the 4. And, if King County, if Public Health Seattle King County has already declared that in King County, racism is, an epidemic.
Health emergency.
Yeah, it's a health issue. It's a matter of health. And so then there is that much more reason for us to be established as a hospice in this county. And I don't like the fact that we have to compete.
I don't like that fact either. When I was reading it, I was like,
that's not, I don't think that does not address issues related to underserved populations, when you're having to, compete in our case, and we have to do it because that's how the legislation is written as it relates to that particular issue. Yeah. And that's what they'll tell you. If you call the Department of Health and ask, hey, how come, there's an applicant that is going to serve an underserved population, and no one else has stated that, why is it that they're having to, and they'll say, well, we have a legislation that we have to go by. So they just pointed that.
Yeah, I was going to say
the
that.
legislation include a limit each year? Or
Is
why
it
would there be a
once a-
limit?
yeah,
That's a
It
good
seems
question.
like it should be based on how many people are in need,
Right.
and how and what there is to provide. And
Right.
So
That's a good question. They standardize it based on population. So when they say we're needing 2 for this year, it's based on the population, of the county. Well, I feel like it should be more than, just about that. But obviously
it
that
definitely should be more about that, because it's not even that it's just a need because of the population. It's a need for the culture.
For the culture, yeah.
It's a need because you can't serve. And we talk about this too. And I feel like we need to have a conversation separate about this on here. We talk about this too with education. There's always these standard processes,
Right.
and
Right.
none of us is standard. Nobody is standard. And so to say, and I was going to mention that when I read in your article in the Emerald, you guys, about when they called them to get a statement, they gave that generic basic, well, we have these protocols and da 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 da. But at the end of the day, you have those protocols. I respect your protocols. But if you have a candidate that meets those protocols, but is also focusing on a certain dynamic that no one is,
Right.
that off top should be one of your candidates.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and just like you said, just shout out to South Seattle Emerald for that great article. I have the reporter Agatha did a phenomenal job writing that article, and Marcus their chief editor and publisher there is very in tune to what needs to go on in the community. So I really appreciate what they do and being able to bring things into light, like healthcare, Black-owned healthcare specifically. But what I wanted to say is that, like you said, they basically say, well, we have a legislation for this. They don't want to assume any kind of blame, so they just point at the legislation. Well, that just goes to show you that the so many situations, in so many cases, the law, the legislation is a scapegoat. And at the end of the day, I was talking to somebody. It really is. If you look into it, it really is hard to change legislation once it's been put into place. It really is. But here's what I'll say: for those that have to execute that legislation, that are solely the ones that execute that legislation, it should be up to them, and because some of this legislation is not. It's up to interpretation. You know what I mean? And so I don't feel like they could just point and say, well, that's how the legislation. No, you have some control in terms of how that legislation is interpreted, and therefore some of that comes back to you too. You can't just So I feel like there are a lot of things as it relates to issues that affect the culture, like you said, that sometimes kind of get dodged. But I feel like what we are presenting in our application is legitimate, very legitimate, and I feel like we have a cause not just for ourselves, but more so for Black-owned healthcare. I through this process, I've come to know and get the support of the owner of the first not the first, but the only Black-owned pharmacy in King County, Othello Station Pharmacy. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that, but Dr. Ali, we've connected, and he's provided support throughout this process.
Nice.
Another Renew Physical Therapy, Eric, the owner of that facility, as far as I know, the only Black-owned physical therapy clinic in King County. I could be wrong, but if there are others, maybe there's one other. It's not like there's a lot of us, right? And so, this whole process has been very great, and being able to connect to other, individuals who are owners of a Black-owned health facility. And I think through these type of facilities, you are able to get care in a way where you have representation. If you are a person of color, showing up, going into a facility like that, knowing that the leadership, knowing that the governing body represents you, knowing that there's cultural competence because they could speak your language or speak how you speak,
right,
and B, just lower the chances that you having to deal with any kind of just cultural incompetence, discrimination. I just believe in that. So
Janet White said legislation is supposed to be about the need and focus of the people, all people. Definitely agree with that. And I mean, even just slipping that in, it's like this is why it is important for us to be voting, and important for us to be showing up for all kind of council meetings and everything, because these people, and when I say these people, you know who I'm talking about, are making decisions for us, and we need to be in the room talking loud and clear, because there shouldn't just be a Black hospice coming. There should be a Black hospital. I mean, there should be options, because we do face a lot of discrimination when we go into, even to this day, like if I go in there, they want me to, like, I done came with you with all my symptoms and they're still asking me. And I can't remember if it was me or you, Robyn, where we were talking about similarities, or I think it was someone else. We were talking about similarities of issues we had when we went to the hospital. This person got more care than I got. And I was just like, it's just mind-boggling.
And all
that-
the evidence is there. Yeah, not only your personal stories that you're able to come say it, but there's tons of evidence. There's
Yes.
tons of data saying that this problem exists.
Yes.
I mean,
I even seen an article a couple of days ago, I can't remember who it was, where some people admitted that they didn't react to Black women like they would a white woman because we have high tolerance of pain or something like that.
Yeah, no, the data is there. You know what else the data says is that if you are a person of color showing up to a doctor's visit, and if the doctor is of your background, that increases your level of trust. That has been proven by data that when you see representation on the other side, whether it's a nurse or a doctor treating you, your level of trust goes up. It's just been driven, or it's been proven statistically, and so that goes back to the idea that it has to be about the patients. It's got to be about their comfort level. It's got to be about what would be most helpful to them. And in our case, in my particular case, I'm talking about those that are at end of life. And when you're at end of life and you already are not as high functioning as you used to be, you probably have some type of illness within the realm of cancer, heart disease, dementia, Alzheimer's, and so there's already so much weight. And then to have to worry about, okay, is my care going to be culturally competent? That shouldn't be.
That is my question every time I go in the doctor's office. Like, is this person going to understand what I'm saying? Am I going to understand what they're saying? Like, honestly, I don't even go as much as I should, because I'm like, I might as well just self-diagnose myself at this point. Because even when I go there, they don't check me out like I should be. But this is not about me. And I'm a little late with this. If you're just tuning in, you're tuning into Clean Greens Living, broadcasted on Rainier Avenue Radio. We have special guest Nathan Yemane in with YBG Healthcare. And he is in the process of opening up a Black hospice. And even though the focus will be Black families, he will serve everyone. And we should touch on that too. It's like when we say Black, it doesn't mean that we're not serving anyone. It just means that there has to be this focus, because there's not a focus in healthcare, education everywhere for Black people. And it's interesting because it's not that focus, but in the world, there's a separation. And in our families, there's a separation. In our culture, there's a separation. So there should be a focus, but there's never that focus. So thank you for coming on. We're not done. I'm just saying thank you.
No. I appreciate it. And you're right. It is for everyone, and everyone gets culturally competent care. That's the philosophy. That's the belief, is that it's not just culturally competent care for one people group. It's for everybody. We're not just making that something that's like number 10 on our values. It's part of our mission statement. So
that's what I was curious about too. So you're doing this huge hurdle, and we've only got a couple minutes left, but you've got this huge hurdle already of getting the application approved. So we would love to find out any way we can help there.
Yes.
And then I'm curious too, to what are some of those points past that mission to make sure that's what's the patients are gonna get. I mean, it seems inherent and obvious, but what are the ways it will be different?
Yeah. So I appreciate that question. I think, like I said, it's not just clinically competent. It's going to be clinically and culturally competent. Another thing that I think differentiates us is that our medical director, Dr. Carla Ainsworth, she's Black, she's African American, and she is very in touch and in tune with what is going on in terms of healthcare when it comes to BIPOC individuals. But then also she has a very good grasp of how Medicare works, and I feel like we have the right staff, and we're going to continue to get the right staff. This is like you said, the first hurdle. We still have to be certified and approved by Medicare. Once we're, when we are, I'm going to
when we're approved,
when we're approved, then we still have the federal side, which is Medicare. But But I feel like the people that are working with me, my business partner David Turner, who's African American, has established Black-owned hospices in 2 other states. We have a well-oiled, like machine in terms of delivering good care, quality care. It's not going to be something where we come up with things as we go. This has been established care in 2 other states that we're going to try to do here. And so we feel like we're going to do right by people, all people.
Real quick, where can people find you and support you and find out any ways that they can help?
Thank you for asking that. So just quick info is that because we're not established, we're not certified by the state yet, we just don't have a whole lot. We can't really have a website or a handle I could share. But what I will say is I'm going to share my phone, the phone number for our business. I'm going to share the phone number for our business. If you're interested in supporting us and appealing to the state, to the Department of Health, we have some ways that we're wanting to let the state know that we want them to hear the community's voice. Please contact me, and I'll be able to explain and include you in what we're going to do and present to the state, the community's voice, not just our voice. We want them to know what the community is saying. And so 206-659-9998 is our office number, 206-659-9998. I'll say it one more time before everything is done, but that's how you could reach us and let us know if you are interested in supporting our cause and supporting the cause of Black-owned healthcare in King County.
All right. Thanks, Nathan. You don't have to repeat it because this is what we're going to do. We're going to post your picture, post your information, and post that number so that you guys can find it. Thank you for tuning in to Clean Greens Living Live, broadcasted on Rainier Avenue Radio. Up next is Traffic Jam. Thanks for joining us.